Hello everyone and welcome to this Risar Dungeon experience. I was interested if two people can actually farm in the Risar Dungeon, and fun fact, you can actually solo farm in the Risar Dungeon. Or actually it's pronounced Risar Dungeon, but I'm not quite sure. So let's get down to business. One more night. Okay, I think I should stop singing. So what can you actually loot in the Risar Dungeon? That is a very good question. You can loot the Risar heads, the Risar ears, the Risar rings, and all of that is worth a lot of money. But you can also, he said, but look in the barrels and in the chests for some very high-end loot. For example, Risar spearheads, Risar dagger heads, Risar hammer heads, and all the other good stuff for the weapon crafting people. But there's also some more stuff to loot. For example, the Risar pick iron and the Risar steel. No, it's actually called pick iron and steel. Using the word Risar gives it a little bit more Risar touch. Because we are the Risar Dungeon. Or actually Risar Dungeon. And many people here place their horses in this room over here. This is a very safe room. You can you can place your horses in there if you don't want to leave them outside. But maybe better leave them outside. It just depends on if some group goes here. I mean, they will find your horses anyway. I mean, if you park before the Risar Dungeon, people will also know. So. And yeah, you can also fight the Risars if you have an unskilled character, like my character, for example. He has not much skills in anything, and he's not good in anything, and he don't even have the hammer skill in any way. So, but you still would be able to solo farm these Risars. The problem is the Risar commander, but more to that later. So each Risar or Risar, or how you call them, will drop some pick iron and also 2 ears and a head, and also maybe some other stuff, some gems and stuff. But what is much more important is that some Risars have a drop chance of grainsteel. You can actually get 200 grainsteel from a normal Risar, which is actually quite a lot, because if you more or less calculate it down, you will get 70% from refining grainsteel to steel. So you will actually loot 140 steel from a Risar. So farming steel there is actually a very viable option, but you will also decrease your standing with the Risar Horde. But currently that don't give you a negative effect, so don't panic, please. The Risars hate you anyway, so it doesn't matter if you kill them right here. Maybe later it will have very hardcore consequences, it just depends. But for example, Herabalter, the continent that will come far in the future, I guess 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know. This is the home of the Risars, and the problem there is, if you have a low standing with the Risars, they will maybe attack you, maybe they will have Risar towns and stuff. And Henrik also mentioned something like, okay, they will more or less ignore you, but if you're getting too close, they will attack you. But I don't know what he meant with the Risar cities, Risar camps and stuff. It's a little bit unclear, but okay, I mean that continent is far in the future, so yeah. And we are here at a position, if you go down there are actually 3 Risars, so you have to be really careful. When you go down these stairs, you have to pull one by one, but if you accidentally ran down, more or less, and you have 3 Risars on your ass, then turn around and run. So actually decreasing your standing doesn't have an effect right now. Maybe in the future you will have a huge problem, maybe not. But it's kept anyway in the negativity, so who cares? The other parts of the dungeon are also easy accessible for 2 players or 1 solo player. If you go more down, you will have maybe a problem with Risar commanders. If you're fighting a Risar commander, this is really tough. But it's not impossible. But you really have to learn how to parry these things. I mean, I'm just a little bit too stupid to block some of these attacks, because I simply sometimes don't care, because of the Risar Glade gift, and I can heal myself pretty fast with my passive regeneration, and I don't care. Okay, that was a lie. I was just too bad at blocking. I admit that. I mean, I recorded this, so I can't talk myself out of that. So just a little story how the Risar Dungeon was in Mortal Online 1. It was very good. I mean, you could more or less solo reach the Risar boss. If you were pretty good, you can also do make solo the Risar boss. But that was pretty hard, and the last guy who made this possible and did this was Livender, and I think he's dead. I don't know if he was one of the people who got a grave in Mortal Online 1. I think it was him and Silberauge, and I forgot the third guy, sorry. And yeah, he more or less soloed the Risar Dungeon more than once. And that was very impressive. But then Starbolt changed more or less the Risar Dungeon in Mortal Online 1. They made it so shitty that you look around the corner and you have 3 Risar commanders on your ass. So even for a little group, for 5 or 6 people, it was impossible to actually get past this. And this broke the dungeon for many people, for our guild too, because yeah, we were not much people, and yeah, it wasn't fun anymore. It was just shit. And mobs bugging in walls and hitting you through walls and invisible mobs everywhere, and it was just a buggy mess. But now we have Mortal Online 2, and I'm very glad that this is finally the thing how it should be. 6 or 7 years I complained about the shitty stuff in a Risar Dungeon in Mortal Online 1, and now finally I can finally enjoy the Risar Dungeon again. No, I'm not raging and I'm not mad at Starbolt. I know you need certain thresholds that not every guy can solo this dungeon or can run through the boss alone or with 2 people and stuff. These sections often feel very unfair when the mobs are bugging in the walls. But currently there are no mobs and monsters bugging in the walls, at least from my experience. I don't know. Some people experienced that. I didn't experience that. Yeah, it's good how it is right now. I like the Risar Dungeon. But the Risars are sometimes hitting too fast and sometimes hitting too slow. I don't know if that is a server or ping issue or an animation issue and stuff. Or maybe I just don't have reflexes and I'm just I don't know. Yeah, that is a pure bone tissues mall. Yeah, I have shit equipment with me as well. And down there in the room are normally 6 to 7 Risars, or 5 to 6 Risars. But a group came before us, it seems. So we're just searching the barrels and the boxes and stuff. And you can get many armor books for that. Not armor books. Weapon crafting books, different weapon crafting books and weapon crafting classes of the Risar stuff. One note here, no, you can't get the Risar armor book here. And also one important side note, if you go in here with pets, for example a big bear and stuff, that will actually work. You can fight with a big bear against a Risar. That will work if you can heal your bear at least a little bit. And if you have the skills for holding the bear and stuff, but yeah, that is, I mean, something that you always need as a Beastmaster, just for example. And no, you can't mounted archer them down in here, because that is a meal only. You can't ride into the dungeon. You can ride into the dungeon, but you will have a very slow speed, so you actually can't escape. And here, for example, I looted grainsteel. Perfect. And we found some very rare book, and we just ran for our lives out of this dungeon to rescue that book right back to the city where we can sell it. So this was a nice little Risar Dungeon experience. Yeah, you can actually make this with 2 people, even solo if you're trying to be hardcore, but you can also solo farm them with relatively shit gear. I mean, we are both not very good equipped, and I mean, I have a vendor armor and a bone tissues maul, so yeah, we are professionals. Professionals. So special thanks to all the channel supporters: Carmel, the Dragonslayer, Professor Otto, Wisdom Studios, Love of King, the German Twitcher, Wahlberg, the G-Streamer here, the Notebook Killer, the Spice Gentleman, the Hot, the Tiffany, Dogman supporter, Donsky, Ron, Spartanax, Vinny, you and all the others, of course. I did it before it disappeared. Woo! So always remember to rise hard and party hard. See you next time. Goodbye.